After show. After show. After show. Woo!
Yeah, we get to do it from our bench.
Yeah. And we're filming the after show right after we finished the video.
I know.
It's like we're getting on top of our schedule.
Yeah, we've had a few projects where we couldn't film the after show until later. For a second, I was like, you know how sometimes girl jeans have like rhinestones and stuff on the back?
Yeah.
I can't even remember the last time I bought jeans with rhinestones, but for
You're
a
like,
second,
oh no,
I was
am I
like,
scratching the bench?
Yeah, I was like, do I have any rhinestones on my butt?
Or those metal studs
Or the metal
in Levi's.
studs, yeah. Do you have any rhinestones?
I don't have any rhinestones, just a button.
You're gonna say, just a butt.
I just got a butt. But this is fine. That's fine.
I know. I know there's a finish on it, but still, it's still like so new.
I can almost like we did 3 coats of finish. Like I understand like when you make a really nice one, you might want to add like an unreasonable amount of finishes to something just because you want to protect it.
Yeah, I mean we could add more before we bring it inside.
We could maybe add more potentially, but also we have to start a new project soon.
Yeah.
But at least we finished it properly. Like
oh, like we actually did finish it?
Yeah, we actually did finish it because some projects we're in such a rush. We're like, we'll do that later.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that this did throw us off our schedule for a little bit. The main thing that really threw us off by a whole day is this waterfall edge. I just went down a
you went to a dark
rage
place.
hole. It's like it was just like it wasn't like you cut it 45 degrees, put it together, but like the 45 degrees wasn't 45 degrees, and it was just.
It was painful because I think it's painful because you see a lot of waterfall edges being made, and
it looks really easy. And
I feel like I'm experiencing the frustration that a lot of people probably have when they're watching maker videos, and our videos might elicit some of that frustration sometimes too, where it's like, well, yeah, it'd be easy if I had a CNC, or if I had a saw, or if I had whatever.
Or it's even like I get where you're going with the equipment. I should let you finish that, but it's also like some people make things look so easy and they don't show the struggle.
That's true.
And it's like we wanted to show the struggle. We wanted to be real, but at the same time, like in our heads, we had a certain pace for this video, so we didn't want to like derail montage mode.
More than we did,
and like it's
we included
it's hard.
some of the struggle, but there was a lot more struggle, but it was hard because we were in like montage mode.
Yeah, this was supposed to be all about the painting and the color testing, not about building a bench.
Yeah, but I think it's hard because we see waterfall edge stuff all the time, and it seems simple, like you said. But then after we were struggling with it, we started looking at videos. It was like every single person either has like a fancy table saw or a fancy track saw that we had seen just zip zop doing it.
Zip zop.
And we don't have a track saw. Our table saw was tiny enough, and this is a heavy enough piece of wood that we just didn't feel comfortable.
Oh yeah, our table saw is so tiny.
Because it's so tiny.
And I'm not even sure if the blade sticks up high enough. It probably will.
It might, but then that just makes it feel even more dangerous.
Yeah.
And like we don't have like an outfeed table. I mean, we would need like
we would have needed a side table.
Like a side feed table.
Yeah.
Because we'd have to do this sideways, and it just like, we didn't have time to build a whole new table all of a sudden. And so it just didn't seem safe. And so we were trying to do it with like just tools not recommended for doing this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It worked out though.
We
had to use a decent amount of wood putty.
We used a lot of wood
glue.
putty and the thick glue. But in the end, it worked. Perseverance did make it work in the end. It was harder than we expected when using tools that aren't the most precise, but it's totally possible. Would I recommend it? I'll get back to you on that. I think that if I had have gone into it with the proper expectations that this is going to be hard, it might have been fine. And also if we had have, some people fix it up using like a block plane or something like that, but we don't have.
You didn't have a.
And not a sharpened one, not one set up properly and stuff, and we don't really know what we're doing with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we thought about turning on its side and just doing a butt joint, which would have been fine, but since we wanted the stain to flow over the edge.
I think if we weren't doing the color, a butt joint would have
been totally fine.
But we did a little test piece. Don't worry, just my phone. We did a little test piece to see how the color looks on the
edge?
on the edge grain versus the side grain, and it's a little hard to tell here, but it was significantly darker, and we wanted it to, again, kind of look like it was just light hitting it, and that wouldn't happen if it was light. Like it wouldn't be so much darker.
I'm still glad that we did everything that we did. I have no regrets, but at the same time, like, you know, I don't want to harp on like the tough schedule again, but like losing a day when we don't have a day to spare was like really tough.
Yeah.
But I think that if we hadn't been in a rush,
it would have been okay.
It would have been okay. You know, just take your time, be careful with tools, and don't get ragey. Advice from Evan that I don't follow, yeah. All right, what else? I think that one thing that's interesting is before this, I had a certain expectation of how each stain would go. Mm-hmm. And then I was surprised with quite a few, like how things actually went. The biggest surprise for me was the food coloring. The Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Like coloring things with food, which is the Kool-Aid, not food coloring.
Yeah.
I thought food coloring was going to be better. No, but the drink powder worked really, really well. And I
expected that to be the worst. And I expected food coloring, clothing dye, and alcohol inks to all be above that. And they're all below it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alcohol inks, I did have higher expectations for, but at the same time, it totally makes sense why they didn't work that well.
Because they just
dry so fast. Yeah. And especially like wood is very absorbent.
Yeah, and we were having struggles just on the little one. Yeah. Imagine doing it on a big scale. I feel
we
like that could end in disaster.
And we'd have to get jugs of alcohol
and just like douse it.
And that just doesn't seem safe.
Or enjoyable.
If we set it on fire. Shushugiban alcohol ink art. Where we douse wood in alcohol and then color it and then light it on fire. You get the best of both.
Shushugiban, do people ever douse it in alcohol?
No.
I feel like, yes. I feel like
wouldn't that be cool?
Maybe there's a reason.
They just haven't thought of it yet. We're going to do it first.
Yeah.
Maybe. Probably not. It seems fun, though.
It seems fun. But
ill-advised?
Yeah, it seems ill-advised.
All right. Well, we'll put it on the shelf. I'll write it down in the ideas list, but not actually.
Speaking of the ideas list, this was actually an idea that we had like before we started actually formally keeping track of ideas in Airtable in our more organized
way. And it was a rainbow bench. Like that's what the idea was.
Yeah.
Not just like make rainbow wood, but like Caitlin wanted to do like watercolor-like fade rainbow, classy rainbow, an adult rainbow.
An adult rainbow, yes.
Yeah. I'm glad we finally got around to it.
Yeah, usually I feel like ideas don't hold up that long. This is an idea from like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I feel like most of the other ideas we had around 2 years ago, it's like they're either too simple or they just seem more boring now or whatever. But it's interesting that this is one that actually held up for that long.
Any other stains or anything that surprised you?
No, we did consider trying a few other things. Like one other thing we considered trying was like acrylic paint and watering that down and doing that. Since the one we ended up using was acrylic based, we were like, you know, maybe they're too similar. And we also just didn't want that whole section of the video to go on for too long. We considered actual watercolor, but because...
It's like, that would have been expensive, it seems, or wasteful.
It just seems like it would be a pain to do because watercolor comes as little like, I'm thinking like, you know, the cheap ones you get at Michael's and stuff, like the kids pack. And it would just seem like it takes so long to like get your brush wet and like wet enough color to do enough for something to scale. So it didn't seem super practical.
Yeah, and at a certain point, increasing the number just seems like it would make the video worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like we had tried a good variety of like different types of things.
The main thing that disappointed me was the fabric dye. I really thought the fabric dye was going to work.
Because it's for like natural fibers.
Natural fibers. But like, it was like,
it was so old.
It was the worst by far.
It was also just like 5 years old.
Yeah.
More. It's older than that. So, but we just didn't feel like buying more. We were already into it.
Yeah. One thing that we did consider is making this video 2 parts. What do you think about that looking back on it?
I think it probably could have been, but I think we would have needed to make each part more. So the 2 parts we were considering was, one would be like testing ways to like dye wood with colors. And then the other would be making a rainbow bench. And I think like we'd have to do more than 6 tests. We'd have to do like at least 10 tests, throw in more like random things, maybe make the test more elaborate. Like maybe we test like on end grain and on face grain.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like just make the test a little bit more.
I think each video, like just thinking about where you're going with this, each video would have been worse than this one video.
That's what I think so too, and that's why we ended up combining it.
Because like, I think thinking about like making that one thing longer, it's like by the time those 10 minutes were done, I was like, okay, check. That was a good amount of time.
It wouldn't necessarily have to be that much longer. I think we would have gone through some of that additional stuff a little bit faster because it gets repetitive.
Yeah.
But then like, would it still be better? And as I was editing that scene, I was like, man, this is like, that scene took up, like, it was over 10 minutes long by the time I was done doing the color testing scene. And I was like, should we have made this its own video? But then at the same time, it was cool, but it felt kind of like,
at the end of it, we would have needed to apply it to something anyways, to like
we still needed to
have a satisfying ending.
Yeah, to apply it to something bigger than just those little test pieces.
And we might as well have just done the bench and combined them, I think.
And then if the bench was going to be its own video, I think even though this ended up being a more complex process than we expected from the outside, it doesn't look that complex. So I think it would have had to be like a more unique bench design or something.
Yeah, and all of the work I did, it was just like one small step. It wouldn't have led to like interesting content. It would have just been like a longer montage of me going insane.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is we would have had to do like a more unique bench design. I think if the bench itself was going to be a standalone thing. And who knows? I mean, when I look back on like our library of videos, they have generally been getting more and more complex. So maybe I have a skewed view of what it needs to be a full video.
Yeah.
But I feel like it needs some form of like experimentation and discovery. And I feel like it needs some form of like satisfying payoff. And breaking this into the 2 would have been hard to get both.
Yeah.
So.
You know what I want to do next? What? Put rainbows on everything.
Yeah, I know, me too.
One thing I want to do is, so our workbench is right over here, push to the side. Each pillar, do an ombre from the color down to nothing.
Oh.
Right? Don't you want to do that? Like in a rotating rainbow, every leg a different color, just like a fade.
That'd be so cool. Or I would also like each leg to be a full rainbow that like they all start with the same color and fade downwards.
That'd be cool too.
Just because I love the look of one color fading to another color.
It'd be like a waste of time because we couldn't turn it into a video, but I want that.
I know.
Or like our bench top has been like really destroyed recently. We could just go ahead and sand it all off, do an entire rainbow across the whole thing, and then it can be part of our videos.
That'd be so cool.
I like might mess with some of the things we do because like it's better to have like a more neutral background.
I like it. I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I often do think about like wanting to do like kind of just for fun. Like I was listening to the Making It episode, Making It podcast episode today, and they were talking about like, do you ever do projects just for fun?
Yeah.
And we don't often really these days just because of time. I mean, we have fun doing the projects we're doing for videos, but we don't often have time to do additional stuff. But if I did, the stuff I would probably do would just be kind of like frivolous, like making things in the workshop prettier. Or
it's like the bandsaw that I repainted.
Yeah, like the bandsaw you repainted.
Randomly, I don't know why I like took the time to do that.
Yeah.
Oh no, because it's a brand color that we can't have.
Yeah, it's a brand color we can't show. But yeah, I think it'd just be so fun to do stuff like that, like to paint the legs, like I don't know.
Or you know what? Do the top and the legs.
Do the top and the legs.
The whole rainbow workbench.
Go crazy. You know, I just think it'd be fun to do. I also kind of want to like paint over our water heater. It's so ugly over there.
We should probably just build like a wooden frame around it.
Yeah.
I feel like that like would be an okay No, it'd be a
maybe if we paint it rainbow.
If we do a rainbow, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's what I would spend time doing. We did it with the clamp thing, the clamp storage.
Yeah.
We did like the little fun stripy stripes, but like more of that, I think. Anyways,
yeah, because this is a studio too.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and that's like one of the ugliest parts of our entire workshop.
Yeah, so anytime we're filming something from a 3/4 angle, we put the camera over here so that it shows the tool wall instead of the water heater.
Well, like, oh, I'm so excited to like go through this garage and like clean it up because we
kind of destroyed it the past month.
The past like month and a half has been pretty rough on our workshop. It's just like a little bit messy. We still have confetti everywhere from the 500,000 subscriber celebration. We still have one confetti cannon ready to go, like an emergency confetti cannon. If anything really exciting happens, either of us has been like, we're like, okay, something exciting happens, let's grab that and fire it.
Yeah.
Just
randomly in a video.
Randomly in a video. So you never know when it might happen, but I really want to do it.
It's probably going to be Evan.
But at the same time, I'm forgetful. So I'll probably remember it like after the fact. I should have used the confetti cannon then.
Yeah, like we should have done it when we sat down on the bench.
Let's refilm it. Let's refilm it. No. But I think that might be the end of the topics that we have written down.
Yeah, I think that was everything that I wanted to talk about and more, since we kind of went on a tangent.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us in today's after show. Thanks for the continued support. We really appreciate it, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.